If you booked a non-stop flight from New York to London 250 million years from now, your pilot wouldn't need to cross an ocean. In fact, they wouldn't even need a plane. You could make the trip in a used Honda Civic, provided your tires don't melt into liquid rubber halfway through. We like to think Earth's geography is permanent. We build borders, fight over coastlines, and print world atlases as if continents are anchored to the bedrock of reality. But Earth's crust isn't a solid floor. It's a dynamic, churning conveyor belt floating on a sea of semi-molten rock. And right now, that conveyor belt is assembling a planetary monster. Welcome to Pangea Ultima. In 250 million years, our cozy blue marble will transform into a sun-baked volcanic fortress where 92% of the land is completely uninhabitable. Surface temperatures routinely crack 60 degrees Celsius, and almost every living thing you know today has been systematically wiped off the evolutionary tree. So, how does paradise turn into this hyperthermic death trap? And more importantly, what bizarre nightmare creatures will inherit the throne once we're gone? Let's hit fast forward on the planet. To understand our future megacontinent, we have to look at the slow-motion car crash happening beneath our feet. Every single year, the Atlantic Ocean widens by a couple of centimeters, while the Pacific Ocean slowly shrinks. Africa is currently plowing northward into Europe at the blinding speed of about 2 centimeters a year. In about 50 million years, the Mediterranean Sea will simply vanish. Rome and Cairo will share a backyard. Where sunbathers once drank espresso on the French Riviera, a new mountain range, the Mediterranean Himalayas, will erupt into the sky, dwarfing Mount Everest. Next goes Australia, colliding headfirst into Southeast Asia in a catastrophic geological pileup. But the real plot twist happens in the Atlantic. Eventually, the oceanic crust beneath the Atlantic Ocean becomes so old, dense, and cold that it can no longer support its own weight. It fractures. Subduction zones form, essentially massive geological drains where the ocean floor gets swallowed back into the Earth's belly. The Atlantic Ocean, the very body of water that defined human civilization and world trade, begins to close like a giant zipper. North America swings southward, crashing into Africa. South America wraps around the bottom. Antarctica drifts upward from the South Pole to join the party. By year 250 million, the puzzle pieces snap shut. All the major land masses fuse into one colossal, unified supercontinent. Geologists call it Pangea Ultima, or Pangea Proxima. And while having only one giant continent sounds like a road tripper's dream, it is in reality a planetary death sentence. If you stepped out onto Pangea Ultima without an environmental spacesuit, your lungs would blister. Recent supercomputer simulations published by Earth scientists reveal that Pangea Ultima will suffer from a lethal phenomenon known as the triple threat climate catastrophe. Threat No. 1. The continentality effect. Oceans are Earth's air conditioners. Water has a high heat capacity. It absorbs heat during the day and releases it at night, keeping coastal temperatures relatively stable. But when you mash all the land into one giant supercontinent, the center of that landmass is thousands of kilometers away from any ocean. Without moisture, clouds can't form. Without clouds, the interior becomes a hyper-arid radioactive frying pan where temperatures swing between apocalyptic daytime heat waves and sub-zero nighttime chills. Threat No. 2. A hungrier sun. As stars age, they burn through hydrogen in their cores, causing their nuclear fusion reactions to burn slightly hotter. By the time Pangea Ultima forms, our sun will be roughly 2.5% brighter and significantly more luminous than it is today. That might not sound like much, but on a planetary scale, it's the thermal equivalent of throwing Earth into a preheated convection oven. And finally, threat number 3, tectonic degassing. When continents smash together, the intense pressure forces immense pockets of carbon trapped in the Earth's crust to cook and vaporize. Massive volcanic fissures, similar to the Siberian traps that triggered the Great Dying, will vomit trillions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide levels could skyrocket to anywhere between 600 and over 1100 parts per million. Combine a blazing sun, a carbon-choked greenhouse atmosphere, and thousands of miles of oceanless desert, and you get a planet where surface temperatures routinely hover between 40 and 70 degrees Celsius. Only a tiny fraction, between 8 and 16% of the entire planet, will be cool enough for complex mammalian life to survive. Which brings us to the ultimate question. What kind of nightmare biology can survive a world that wants to boil it alive? Mammals, the group that includes us, dogs, elephants, and whales, ruled Earth for 66 million years because we are warm-blooded. We regulate our own temperature. We sweat, we pant, we adapt. But our greatest strength becomes our fatal flaw on Pangea Ultima. Mammals cannot survive when the wet bulb temperature exceeds 35 degrees Celsius for prolonged periods. When the air is too hot and humid, sweat stops evaporating. Our internal engines overheat and our organs shut down. On Pangea Ultima, the age of mammals comes to an unceremonious, blistering end. So who takes over? First in line, cold-blooded specialists. Reptiles don't have to burn energy to stay warm. Their metabolisms thrive in higher thermal envelopes. Future evolutionary descendants of lizards and snakes could evolve massive vascularized skin sails to radiate excess heat away at night, or enter states of prolonged underground hibernation during the brutal daytime scorch. Meanwhile, the rest of the planet, the other 70%, is an unbroken, globe-spanning superocean. With no continents to disrupt weather patterns, oceanic superhurricanes, hypercanes with wind speeds exceeding 300 miles per hour will violently rip across the water. Beneath the surface, entirely new ecosystems will reign. Without land runoff to deliver nutrients, open oceans might turn into marine deserts, but deep-sea hydrothermal vents and hyperoxygenated polar waters will spawn colossal specialized apex predators we can barely imagine. It's almost impossible to ask, where will we be when all of this happens? If humans, or whatever post-biological descendants we leave behind, are still around in 250 million years, Earth will no longer be our primary home. We will have had to leave or evolve past our biological flesh entirely. Every city we have ever built, every statue, every hard drive containing all of human knowledge, art, and history will be completely subducted into Earth's mantle, melted into liquid magma, and recycled back into raw rock. The entirety of human existence, from the dawn of stone tools to the launch of interstellar probes, will be reduced to a single paper-thin geological layer of compressed carbon, microplastics, and rare isotopes. Earth won't remember our names, our borders, or our wars, because to Earth, we are not the masters of the world. We are just a brief, beautiful 5-minute guest in a 4.5 billion-year-old house. Pangea Ultima isn't the end of Earth's story. It's just the end of one chapter. In another 250 million years after that, the supercontinent will fracture again. New oceans will open. New life will crawl out of the sea. The planet will wipe the slate clean and start the grand experiment all over again. Exploring the deep cosmic timeline makes you realize just how precious and extraordinarily lucky our current moment in Earth's history really is. We live in the rare golden window where the climate is gentle, the continents are spread, and the planet is ours to explore. If you love exploring the wildest frontiers of science, cosmic time, and what lies ahead for humanity and our planet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Join our community of deep time thinkers in the comments down below and let me know, if humanity survives to see Pangea Ultima, where do you think we'll be living? Thanks for watching and stay curious.